The first thing Commander Althea noticed about the human was the mask. In the vast council chamber of the Galactic Concord, hundreds of alien delegates filled their designated tiers, towering insectoid diplomats, luminous gas beings floating in containment spheres, reptilian strategists with armored crests. Every species in the known galaxy had gathered for the same reason: war. At the center of the hall stood a single human soldier. He wore dark combat armor that looked strangely simple compared to the elaborate technology surrounding him. No glowing circuitry, no energy wings, no royal insignia, just black metal plates and a smooth helmet that completely concealed his face. Althea leaned forward from her throne. The human was smaller than most warriors present, but the room felt different around him. Still, quiet, almost tense. "Human," she said, her voice echoing through the chamber's translation field. "You stand before the Concord to represent your species."
The soldier said nothing.
Althea's eyes narrowed slightly. Across the galaxy, humans had developed a reputation: unpredictable, resilient, and annoyingly difficult to intimidate. But this one was something else entirely. He hadn't moved since entering the chamber, not even slightly. "What is your name?" she asked. A calm voice came from inside the helmet. Captain Elias Ward. The name meant nothing to most of the council, but to the few who had fought humans before, it carried a strange tension. Althea studied him carefully. "Captain Ward," she said slowly, "it is custom in the Concord for representatives to reveal themselves before the council." Silence. Then Elias replied, "I'm aware of the custom." "Then remove your helmet." Another pause. Then a simple answer: "No." The entire chamber erupted in whispers. Several delegates hissed in outrage. Others watched with fascination. Althea remained perfectly still. Refusal in the Concord was rare. Refusal from a human was even rarer. "You misunderstand your position," Althea said calmly. "You stand before the most powerful alliance in the galaxy. This is not a negotiation." Elias tilted his head slightly. "Then you don't need to see my face." That answer only deepened the silence. Althea felt something strange stir inside her thoughts. Curiosity. She had studied humans for years. Their expressions carried emotional information other species struggled to read. But this one had removed that completely. No eyes, no mouth, no reaction, just a silent black mask. "You hide," one reptilian delegate growled, "because you are weak." Elias didn't respond. The reptilian leaned forward aggressively. Or perhaps humans are ashamed of their appearance. Still nothing. Althea tapped one claw against her thrown arm. The human's refusal wasn't defensive. It wasn't fearful. It felt deliberate. She leaned forward slightly. "Captain Ward," she said, her tone softer now, "why refuse such a simple request?" The answer came immediately. "Because once you see it, you won't stop looking." The chamber fell silent again. Althea blinked. That was not the answer she expected. "Explain." Elias stood motionless. "No." The meeting ended without resolution. Officially, the Concord had summoned humanity to discuss their growing military presence along contested borders. Unofficially, everyone wanted to understand the strange species that kept surviving wars they should have lost. But the human representative had left the council chamber without revealing his face. And somehow that bothered Althea far more than open hostility would have. She watched the recording later that night. The projection replayed the moment again. "Remove your helmet." "No." She paused the image. The black visor stared back at her. Why did that bother her? She had faced monsters that could devour entire cities. Yet this silent human felt unsettling. She activated a private channel. "Bring me the human." Captain Elias Ward arrived under escort. He stood in Althea's private command chamber, the same way he had in the council hall. Perfectly still. Helmet still on. Althea dismissed the guards. The doors sealed shut. Now, they were alone. "You embarrassed the Concord today," she said. I answered honestly. "You refused a lawful request. I refused curiosity." Her eyes sharpened. "You think that's all this is?" "Yes." That calm confidence irritated her. Althea stood from her throne and slowly walked toward him. Her species stood nearly 8 feet tall, elegant but dangerous, with silver skin and luminous eyes. Most beings instinctively stepped back when she approached. Elias didn't move. She stopped directly in front of him. "Humans are fascinating creatures," she said quietly. "Emotionally expressive. Physically fragile." Her claws lightly touched the smooth metal of his helmet. "And yet you hide the very thing that defines your species." Elias's voice remained steady. "That's the point." Althea tilted her head. "You truly believe your face is that important?"
"No," he said.
"But your reaction will be." That answer sent a strange thrill through her thoughts. She stepped back slowly. "You intrigue me, Captain. That's dangerous." "For who?" Elias didn't answer. Althea smiled faintly. "Yes," she murmured. "I suspected as much." Over the next several days, Althea summoned him repeatedly. Each time, she asked the same question. Each time, he refused. But the conversations became longer, stranger, more personal. "You fought in the Carthan Wars," she noted during one meeting. "Yes." "You survived 4 orbital sieges." "Yes." "You personally evacuated 3,000 civilians from a collapsing colony." "Yes." Althea leaned back in her chair. "Humans do reckless things." Elias shrugged slightly. "Sometimes reckless works." "And yet you won't do something as simple as removing a helmet." "It's not simple." Her eyes narrowed. "You truly think I would become obsessed with a face?" "Yes." Althea laughed softly. "Captain, I command fleets capable of destroying planets." "That's not the same thing." "And why not?" Elias paused. Then he said quietly, "Because curiosity is stronger than fear." That sentence lingered in the room. Althea felt something shift inside her thoughts again. Curiosity turning slowly into determination. "You underestimate my discipline." "Maybe." She stood again and approached him. "Or perhaps," she whispered, "you want me to keep asking." Elias remained silent. Althea leaned closer. "So tell me the truth, human." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Why won't you show me your face?" For the first time, Elias hesitated. Then he answered, "Because humans are dangerous in ways you don't understand." Althea smiled slightly. "I command war fleets." "You command weapons," he said. "That's different." Weeks passed. The political situation grew tense. Border conflicts intensified. Several alien factions began demanding action against humanity. But Althea found herself distracted. Every meeting, every report, every strategy discussion. Her thoughts kept drifting back to the same question. What did the human look like? She had seen thousands of humans in historical recordings. But Elias Ward had somehow turned something ordinary into a mystery. And mysteries demanded answers. Finally, she summoned him again. This time the chamber lights were dim. The galaxy outside stretched across the panoramic window like an ocean of stars. Elias entered silently. "Captain," she said softly, "do you know why humans interest me?"
"No."
"Because you break expectations." She gestured toward the stars. Every species in the Concord evolved through survival of the strongest. She turned toward him, but humans, her eyes gleamed. "You evolved through cooperation." Elias nodded slightly. "That's true." And yet, she said slowly, you stand alone. I volunteered.
Why?
Elias looked toward the stars. Because someone had to. Althea studied him carefully. You carry responsibility like armor. That's what armor is for. Her gaze drifted again to the helmet. Then finally, she said quietly, take it off. Elias didn't move. No, the word echoed softly in the chamber. For a moment, Althea simply stared at him. Then she laughed quietly. I command entire fleets, she said. And yet I cannot make one human remove a helmet. Correct. You're infuriating. I've been told. Althea stepped closer. Her voice dropped again. Do you know what's worse than curiosity? What? Obsession. She reached up slowly, her claw resting lightly against the helmet's edge. You created one. Elias finally spoke more softly. I warned you. For several seconds, neither of them moved. Then Althea whispered, show me.
Silence.
Then, slowly, Elias reached up. The helmet locks disengaged with a soft mechanical click. The chamber lights reflected across the smooth black surface as he lifted it away. Althea's breath caught. For the first time, she saw the human face. It wasn't monstrous. It wasn't terrifying. It was simply human. Strong jaw, calm eyes, a faint scar across his brow. But those eyes, they held something she had never seen before. Not fear, not arrogance, not submission, just quiet confidence. Althea stared. Seconds passed, then minutes. Finally, Elias spoke gently. I told you. Althea didn't respond. She stepped closer, studying him, analyzing every subtle expression, every tiny shift of emotion. Humans communicated entire conversations with their faces alone. And now, she understood what he meant. You won't stop looking. She exhaled slowly. Fascinating. Elias smiled faintly. See the problem? Yes. Althea leaned back slightly. Then she laughed again, this time louder. You were right. Elias tilted his head.
About what?
She met his gaze. I can't stop. For the first time, the powerful commander of the Galactic Concord looked genuinely intrigued. And perhaps something more. Congratulations, Captain Ward, she said softly. You've just become the most interesting being in the galaxy. Elias sighed. That was exactly what I was trying to avoid. Althea smiled. Too late. Outside the window, stars drifted silently across the void. Inside the chamber, a strange new alliance had begun. Not built on power, not built on fear, but on something far more dangerous. Human curiosity, and alien obsession. And somewhere deep within the vast machinery of the Galactic Concord, history quietly began to change.